assets and time and money to get on as many game shows as possible to win money. You don't watch Deal or No Deal. Family.
Now, before we dive in, just a quick reminder. This video is for informational and entertainment purposes only, and should not be considered financial advice. Our full disclaimer is shown here and on our website. Hello everyone. Today we're going to be diving into some more finance TikToks. Let's dive right into some videos.
Alright, 3 good habits to adopt in 2025. Number 1, bring lunch from home to work. Easy. Save you a bunch of money, probably $20, $30 a week. You know Chick-fil-A ain't that good anyway. Number 2.
So I completely agree with him. You know, something that I used to do back when I was working 5 days a week in my office was to bring lunch from home. So usually what I would do is I would cook a good amount of dinner, and then I would bring the leftovers the next day to work and cook it in the microwave. That saved me daily between $5 to $10, especially since I work in a high-income area. Usually lunch outside was usually $10 to $15 sometimes. So definitely agree. Bring lunch to work and you'll be saving the big bucks overall. So definitely agree with this comment.
2, you're going to practice saving $300 a month starting in January 2025. That's right. You want to end off the year with a mindset of building cash, not spending cash. Number 3.
So I agree with his point there. And $300 doesn't have to be the amount that you're looking for. Think about like what you can start with, because you know everyone's budgets are different and everyone has different income thresholds, of course, and expenses. So at least start with something, whether it's $100, $200, or in his case he said $300. Start with what you're comfortable with money that you know that once you put it away for savings, you don't want to touch it. So that'll get you more into the habit of starting to build, you know, your retirement, you know, not just your retirement funds, but also your emergency funds, which you'll need for the future.
What I want you to do is go ahead and read a financial book, learn about money, get that ingrained, stop consuming content that forces you to spend, inspires you to spend, start reading content that inspires you to save. Because at the end of the day, you work so hard for your money. You don't want to keep none of it? Come on now, talk to me. Tell me you ain't going to save no money with these tips. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.
I also agree with his last point. You know, something that's very lacking in our education system is financial literacy courses. So, you know, the only way for you to learn financial literacy is either through content just like this or reading a financial book. You know, reading, you know, of the experiences that people have had with money and how they invested their money will help you to understand that it's not something that's foreign language as long as you study it diligently and start to actually make your own moves. Because, you know, there's no greater experience than actually having, you know, a great, you know, savings account, you know, have a certain amount of investment, start building your portfolio. There's just no thrill like that. So definitely get out there and start learning and start building your future. Now, how about I give you guys 3 things that I would do or recommend to people, especially who are younger and starting their financial journey. The first thing is I would say, you know, try to actually live with your parents if you can. The first thing, the most common and highest expense you ever experience in your life is rent. Usually that can eat up to 50% of your income, but if you can live with your parents for an extended period of time, this will help you to actually, you know, take as much savings as you can and then invest that in what you want, whether it's stocks, houses, whatever your financial future leads you. Try to save as much as you can while living with your parents and then think about moving out and starting your life, because sometimes, you know, the most money you're going to be able to save is while you're living with your parents, of course. The second thing I would say is try not to indulge as much as you used to. You know, when you're living with your parents, it's easy to buy like 10, 20 video games. But once you're actually living, you know, on your own, try to limit the amount of things that you buy. Don't overindulge. You know, maybe instead of buying 10 video games a month, for example, buy 2. Instead of eating like a $100 steak, try eating a $10 steak. You know, these types of little things, cost-cutting measures will help you to, you know, develop your savings and your retirement and actually lead you to a better future. The third thing is use your youth to your advantage. one of the most powerful resources out there in the world is human resources, which is your youth. So while you're young and still able to actually produce, go ahead and go out there and not just do 40 hours a week. Go ahead and see if you could do 60, 80 hours a week. Because the more money you earn now while you're younger, you're going to feel a lot better in the future when you have assets that are working for you instead of you having to work for your assets. So the best thing you can do for yourself is to just go out there and work as much as you can. Because that's what I did. When I was younger in my 20s, I would work 80 to 90 hours a week, but then I would reap a lot of money and use that to invest and purchase homes and other assets that I use today that now are working for me instead of me working for my assets. So go out there and keep earning.
Optimal Investing Order by Brian Farrell. First, focus on a starter emergency fund. Save enough to cover your deductibles. Second, max out your employer match if you have a 401k or 403b. Third.
So I agree with his first point where he says, getting a starter emergency fund. Usually a starter emergency fund could be around $500 to $1,000, and that's something that you actually start with initially. I would say even before doing the second thing he mentioned, which is the, contributing to a 401k employer match, I would actually move on to number 4, which is the actually getting the full emergency fund. So once you actually have your starter emergency fund, go straight into the emergency fund. Keep the rhythm going. I think that's probably going to be the most important thing, because that'll get you into the safety net of having, some savings.
Pay off high interest debt. Any debt over 7% should be eliminated. Next, do a full emergency fund, 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Fifth, do a health savings account if you qualify for one. Sixth, focus on a Roth.
So I would say I agree with his next points, which is to then pay off the high interest debt. Usually high interest debts are like personal loans, credit card debt, car loan. All of these kinds of loans are high interest debt that you should pay off as quickly as possible, because the quicker you pay these off, the more you can start investing in things. And the other aspect that he mentioned, which is a health savings account and a Roth IRA account, these are more, retirement-based accounts. A health savings account usually is a great idea, and it has triple tax deference. So basically, you'll not be paying any taxes when you put money into it. You won't be paying any taxes on any growth that's in the account, and you will also not be paying any taxes when you actually take money out of the account. So this is the only triple tax benefit account that's out there. So definitely something you can use, going forward. And the great thing about a health savings account is that once it reaches $2,000, you can actually invest in stocks and REITs and other items, which is another great way to keep growing your money tax-free.
IRA or traditional IRA, depending on your income and tax situation. Next, pay off all of your non-mortgage debt.
So another great thing that he mentioned was a Roth IRA. So the one thing I will mention about Roth IRA specifically is that there is an income limit of 146,000 roughly as of 2024. So definitely invest in a Roth IRA as early as you can before you hit this limit. And the other aspect of Roth IRAs is that there's an annual limit of how much you can invest in them. So the earlier you invest in them, into Roth IRA, which is another post-tax account. The difference between it and Roth IRA and HSA, just to give you some context, is that a Roth IRA does require you to actually put in post-tax dollars, and whatever grows in it also is tax-free. So you effectively take out of it tax-free, and also you have to put into it post-tax. Unlike an HSA, which you can actually put pre-tax, tax-free, grow it tax-free, and as well as take out of it tax-free. So definitely take advantage as much as you can about all of these accounts.
Including student loans, HELOCs, and car loans. 8, invest in a taxable brokerage account. It's time to start building wealth. 9, take care.
Sorry about that. But yeah, so another thing that I would say is, just like you mentioned, pay off all your debts as quickly as possible, especially non-mortgage related debts. That's probably the most important thing. And the other thing about the taxable accounts, which is like the brokerage accounts, definitely is something that you should start looking into once you actually have 1 through 7 down packed, because this is actually how you're going to actually start really accelerating your money. And sometimes a brokerage account will have an advisor and will help you actually grow your account even faster than usual.
Care of your kids' college with a 529 plan or UGMA, and then 10th, pay off your mortgage. There's nothing like being debt-free. If these kind of visuals are useful, follow me for more.
So going into the two that he just mentioned at the end there. The 529 account is as a college plan account. It's a great way to actually grow your kids' tuition. So you can actually invest into different investments like stocks, index funds, REITs, and any other investment, and it actually grows tax-free. And the great thing about it, a 529 plan, is that your kid doesn't even have to use it for college. They can actually use it for anything they want. Once they get of age, which is around 18, they can actually decide to not use it and, put it in whatever they want to. The other thing about paying off your mortgage is I would say that's very key as well. Mortgage, once you actually have a mortgage paid off, you no longer have to worry about the bank repossessing your home, foreclosures, and all these other items that could negatively impact your credit score. So yeah, definitely a great video and lots of great insights.
Hello everyone, my name is Anthony and I'm the host of the Log Sanctuary. I hope you've been enjoying our content so far, and if you have, please feel free to like and subscribe. Also, we have our website up here, and we also have some socials down here. And as always, leave your comments down below.
4 or 5 credit cards that everyone should own.
It's really simple because they all work seamlessly together. So there's 2 credit cards with Chase. One is the Chase Freedom Unlimited, which is your everyday spender, and then the Chase.
So just to give a little context about the Chase Freedom card, the first one he mentioned. This card is great because, usually you get, rotating categories. Sometimes usually it's 5%, but there's a limit of how much of the 5% you can get, of course, based on the category. The category changes every 3 months. The other thing is anything outside of those categories will only get you 1%. So definitely you have to be a little bit more tactical when you use this card. So I would say, just be a little more careful of like how you actually use this card in terms of like your spending.
Sapphire Preferred card. With the combination of both of those cards, you unlock the Chase Travel Portal, which allows you to move your points into mileage partners or hotel loyalty programs, so then you can travel act better. So you get those 2 cards, and now you complete your Chase Duo.
I would agree that the Chase Sapphire card is a good card, but there's a few drawbacks to it. The first thing is there is an annual fee. Compared to the last one he talked about, there's no annual fee for the first one, but this one does have an annual fee. Yeah, so the Chase Sapphire card is a good card, if you travel quite a bit, and you could take full advantage of it. But the fact of, the annual fee is one thing. The other thing is that the points are great, but they're not anything anything great in the sense of percentage wise. Usually it's around 2 or 3% of the amount that you pay that you get in mileage back, for flights and other things. So it's a great card if you like to travel a lot, but not something if you want to use for like day-to-day purchases.
The other 2 cards are with American Express. So you get the American Express Gold card, so you can earn 4 times points on restaurants and groceries, namely. And then you also get the Platinum card. You want to spend your money on the Amex Gold card in the Chase Freedom Unlimited, but you want to have the Sapphire Preferred in the American Express Platinum, so you can get the travel benefits, you unlock the portals for both of them, and you can actually move your points where you want them to go. If you're a traveler, if you travel more than I would say once or twice every couple months, then I think you should get that card. Otherwise, you don't need that one, but the other 3 everybody should have.
So kind of talking about the last 2 cards he mentioned, American Express. So I've actually had an American Express back then, and I would say this is actually not the most ideal card for the everyday spender. The reason I say that is because the drawback about their cards usually is that they usually have a high annual fee. And the second thing is, in order to get into their rewards program, sometimes you actually have to pay to get into the rewards program as well. So you have to pay on top of the annual fee just to have the card. You actually have to pay an additional fee just to actually get into the rewards programs of the cards. And the one thing about American Express specifically is that usually they require you to pay it every month, and you can't usually have a balance on the card. Usually they require you to pay the card in full every month. And the other aspect is that not a lot of places accept American Express because they actually have the highest transaction fees. So that's another, hindrance to having an American Express card. It's a great symbol to have an American Express card, but I personally would never have it because of these drawbacks.
You need to completely rethink your personal financial strategies in your 20s. I know so many people who are like trying to hop careers to gain salary. They're going to get an MBA to boost their salary. You should not be doing this. You should be focusing all of your assets and time and money to get on as many game shows as possible to win money. We don't watch Deal or No Deal, Family Feud, Survivor growing up. None of us actually go and do it. I called my friend yesterday, very successful guy. I was like, have you tried going on Deal or No Deal? And he was like, no. And I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your time? You could, instead of having $1 million a year revenue business, you could just make $1 million in one night by selecting the right suitcase.
So I just want to tell everyone that this video, he's right in the sense of like, yes, you can get on a game show or win the lottery and definitely make big bucks. You can make $1 million overnight. I just want to say, that's not really feasible for many people. That's not something that everyone has the ability to do, to go on a game show or to win the lottery, because there's definitely a selection process to get into it and all this fun stuff. So definitely go out there and get your MBA if that's what you're looking for. Depending on your career path, MBA is going to be important, especially if you want to make it to the Millionaire Club, which is the C-suite club or the corporate executive club. That's the guys that make the millions, and they make it every year. There's corporate executives out there who make $10 to $20 million a year, and they make it within a year. I know it's 1 year versus 1 day compared to what he was mentioning, but yeah, definitely, focus on your grind, focus on doing that. And the other thing I just want to just close out on is, if you do ever make it big and get that big win, don't just spend it all on a Ferrari or on a big house. Definitely invest it, make the most of that money, and keep growing it, because down the road you're going to definitely need it for the future, for your future self. So with that, we've concluded our last video, and I just want to thank everyone for joining me on for this new series, and I hope everyone has a blessed day. Adios.
Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing an amazing job, and I'm wishing everyone out there all the best. All right, until next time, adios.